Welcome to Conversations with Sekani, a podcast for people in their 20s who are trying to figure out life and not get lost along the way. Today's guest is Brett Ashby, an award winning Australian contemporary visual artist, performance painter, motivational speaker, and cancer survivor. For more than 2 decades, Brett has created art around the world, from painting public figures to leading large-scale creative projects across Australia, Europe, and the United States. He's perhaps best known for his unique style of painting while skateboarding, transforming movement, balance, and creativity into a powerful form of storytelling. Through his work and personal journey, Brett encourages people to see creativity as a source of resilience, healing, and purpose. Brett, welcome to Conversations with Sekani. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thanks, Sekani, and hi to all your listeners. Great to be here.
All right. Okay. So yes, Brett, I want you to take us back to your 20s, basically, right? So who were you then, and what dreams or ambitions were shaping your future?
Well, when I was young, I was very interested I was playing soccer and I was surfing and riding my skateboard. And I used to always be creative, but I guess I never knew that I was going to pursue my artwork. I first thought maybe I will be an animator working in the film industry. So I started working in television and did some advertising and multimedia. But I soon realized my passions were to make my own stories, make my own original artwork. And I guess it all soon become my journey. But yeah, as a young child, my family were a building company, and we used to draw houses and do sketches of interior design for homes. So I guess I was always enjoying being creative and doing drawing.
Hmm. Wow. All right. So you've always been you've always been artistic and you liked creativity when you were young. Right. Okay. So, your work, right? It combines painting, movement, and performance in a very unique way. So were there moments in your 20s when people doubted your unconventional approach?
Yeah, well, I started off taking photographs. So I started out doing mixed media and traveling. And once I was from a countryside as a young boy in nature, as soon as I left and moved to London or to a big city like New York, then I was taking photographs, trying to document the experience that I was having from being growing up in nature and then being thrown into the big city, surrounded by concrete buildings and very fast paced living. So, my collages, I used to do photographic collage. I'd take thousands of images and slice them out and set them in resin on the board or canvas and set the resin on top to hold it all together. And this photographic collage, I guess, was a way for me to um, connect all the different imagery and make a narrative and a story in the face of a portrait or an icon. And this very much become start the first series of my art journey around 29 year 2009 to 2012. But as you see my career grow and change, going through many different artwork series is in your heading from emerging artists heading towards mid-career artists, then the artist is always evolving and his technique and his body of work was always changing, which led me to the later works where I was telling those narratives in form of painting and skating in a live theatre show in front of 500 seated people, where I started painting portraits with the subject sitting on stage, and that those works were around the year 2020. So you can start to see there's quite a 10-year gap between the works. So it gets more and more focused on frequency and energy, chakra colors, and also looking at the aura of the subject and how would you represent people like famous singers and high career profile people with high vibration. I wanted to raise my vibration with the skateboarding, which become a bit of a show. But if you compare the sort of artworks, they've always been vivid in color, and they've always been about telling a narrative or almost like a film in the face of a still picture.
Mm. Wow. Oh, all right. So yes, thank you, Brett. This has been amazing. And I would like for us to, dive into what you're doing today, right? So your philosophy, it explores the connection between movement, energy, and human experience. So how did those ideas become like central to your work?
Yeah, so I think it's very important to explore what is going on inside one's body and how that energy flow and that almost river like state within one's body, we express it on the outside, so that inner light and then it shines outside of you. I think it's important to always look at that when you're looking at an artwork. And it's about not the final painting, but it's about how did the artist realize the work over many years getting to that point. So the process and the journey is more about the final canvas. So yeah, all of these components and layers makes the final artworks, which I see very important.
Hmm. Wow. All right. So, you're also widely known for painting while riding a skateboard. Wow. Oh, okay. So how did that idea come about and what does it represent, let's say, beyond the performance itself?
Yeah, so we were talking as well about movement and how I think the body's always trying to adjust itself. It's always trying to find balance. It's almost, no matter where you are against gravity, the body is always trying to find balance and harmony within inside itself. So when I was, I'd been practicing since around the year 2006, 20 years on is around where we are now. So just the later 5 years around the year 2020, they were the most vivid kind of painting and skating shows that I had ever done. And they were soon performed after surviving cancer in the year 2016. So it's there lots of my journey has changed from the start, from that moment through to the later years. But in the year 2012 to 14, I returned from London and I was commissioned to do public performance artwork for a famous hotel in Melbourne in Australia. And I returned after not skateboarding for 10 years and decided to paint whilst riding the skateboard. And I called that series Movement, and it was Brett's movement. I was feeling that how would I explain what I am doing? Well, I thought I'm documenting the movement of Brett on the skateboard on the canvas. So Brett's moving through time and space on a half pipe. So these are like a vert ramp. It's quite a large steel ramp, public skateboard ramp. And I was put the easel in the middle of the ramp and I'd skateboard up and around that and make my marks of paint on canvas. And this was the first series of this. So that's how I came to realize the work. I returned to a childhood hobby of mine that I hadn't skateboarded in 10 years because when I was young, I had had a skateboard accident, injured my neck, and lost my
Hmm.
two front teeth. So it was almost like a return to an inner passion, something that I love to do. And I turned the skateboard into a tool, part of my art supplies to then make the artworks. And the more that I did that movement, it connected to so many people, everybody in the world that knows what it means to roll. We started a new dialogue, and I've been doing it for the last 8 years after that.
Wow. All right. And I'm so sorry about, the skateboard accident, right? And then, I want us to touch on something, right? Wow. As a cancer survivor, your perspective on life inevitably changed. So, how did that experience reshape your purpose as both an artist and a person?
Yeah, Sekani. So it's important to realize that you get to these moments, crossroads in one's life or almost midlife in your age. And sometimes the universe delivers information that you is unexpected, but sometimes very timely and very uh, uh, providing a large understanding of where you are and where you got to that moment. So, getting the information that I had received from my local general practitioner that I was looking to be facing cancer and having a very short time to live, so needing to have surgery and chemotherapy and from that moment, it was about 6 years before I could do sit ups and press ups again, starting to rebuild my body. It's quite a long period, a long duration, and it's going to really change someone's life if these moments come. And as a 30-year-old male, it's quite a shock. I don't think many men have much information about cancer and the stresses placed upon one's body and success in your business or your career leading to that moment. It's a real shock, and there was not many resources to find your way through those challenging times. But the biggest thing that I learned in that moment was I was grateful to uh, have achieved everything I had to that moment, but I understood that the only way to survive this is if I started to make changes, change everything that I'd been doing to that moment, and pursue a life of health and wellness and recreate the next chapter and be grateful that you're getting another go at life. So that's the kind of steps that I took. And as soon as I survived the treatment, I started rebuilding my body back from a low immune system. I had to rebuild all those steps to become strong again.
Hmm. Wow. Oh, all right. Honestly, Brett, I would say your story is one of resilience and strength, right? Despite everything that happened, you still chose to, keep going and keep, doing what you're doing. And that is what I'll call true strength, right? Because despite everything, you never just stayed down. Right. And I really do admire that about you. And I believe your story is going to bring hope to people out there. Right. So your message is that art saves lives, right? Creativity gives pain somewhere to go. Wow. So what does that statement mean to you on a personal level?
Yeah, so I had many medical practitioners show interest that, I had been living with the cancer maybe for 2, 3 years prior to any diagnosis. I used to go and ask for medical checks. I used to get things in check to see if any risk of for me in my age. But lots of people
Wow.
was undetected. Lots of doctors were suggesting they come back when you're 60, you're too young, there's nothing going on. All this kind of it was very challenging to feel like something might be wrong inside yourself, and no
Mm.
one's there to help you. So in terms of my artwork, I moved to a beach environment. I was living on the coast. I was swimming, running, eating vegetarian, doing all health based things for 1 to 2 years. And whilst I was living there, was painting a lot of, I did a new series of painting, 30 artworks. And they were quite a darker sort of period of my paintings. So I knew there was an inner feeling of some pain or something ill inside me, and the paintings were expressing them out of me. So to in link with your question, it's about the art. I was saving myself. I was living in a new environment. I changed my landscape. I was filling myself up with vitamins and supplements and wellness, and I was painting out all of the dark stories and thoughts or toxins and traumas within oneself. And those canvases were getting painted. So it was healing me. It was calming my mindset. And as soon as I bubble wrapped those artworks, I stretched them and framed them and completed the series. One day later, I went down to my local doctor or my childhood doctor, and I thought something's wrong. And I met with him, and he said, "You've got cancer." So I feel
Mm,
like from their feedback and the medical response, it was almost like you brought these things to the surface and now it can be detected. So that's the hope I want to share. And I want people to understand that we can let go through the art, we can express inner stories, and it's got a lot of healing.
all right. The importance of artwork, of creativity. And when we talk about creativity, because I remember speaking with a guest, right? She said when we talk about creativity, a lot of people think it's just by drawing, right? Or painting. I mean, there are different forms of creativity. Even as humans, daily we are probably being creative one way or the other, right? It could be by you know, putting your home in order, your house arrangements. There are so many forms of creativity, right? And this actually helps us relieve some form of anxiety, right? If you feel very anxious, probably if you feel depressed, creativity, actually helps you feel better. It helps with healing processes, right? Creativity could be drawing, it could be singing, right? It could be painting, a whole lot of it. It could be music, right? So this is to let people out there know that there are various forms of creativity and it truly helps people heal. It truly helps people feel better and it also helps people connect more with their inner self. As someone who, has experienced it personally, I would actually say that. So yes, thank you, Brett, for, your amazing story. And like I said, your story is one of strength and resilience, which I really do admire and appreciate. And I would like to ask, right? Because today a whole lot of young people they feel pressure to choose practical careers over creative ones. So what would you say to someone who is afraid to pursue their passion?
Absolutely. I highly recommend that you do. If you have that inner calling, that inner vision, some dreamlike feeling that you always wanted to be creative, do your singing, make your film, take your photography, uh, design interiors, architecture, this is something that you must express. I feel like if you dull yourself down or people are dimming your light inside you down, then it's only going to make you feel unbalanced. It's about having that light shining out of you, and there's always going to be someone that wants to come down and see you. If it feels right for you, then someone else will really fall in love with it as well. So don't suppress this talent, this genius within you. You must share it, or something. There will be a blockage within inside your body that you always need to express.
Mm. And like you said, don't suppress the genius within you. Right. Wow. Oof, okay. And finally, right, if someone listening today doesn't consider themselves artistic, right, how can they still use creativity as a tool for growth, healing, or self-expression?
Well, Sekani, I like what you said about you can. everyone is born creative. I feel like there's so many ways you can bring color into your life, you can bring art into your life. Sometimes go and place yourself in an artistic setting where there is
Mm,
other artwork. Go to a live opera singing show, go to a live theater performance, go to events that have art, because when you stand in front of these other art forms, it may reflect back to you and you may see yourself in that. And then you'll realize, hang on a minute, I could do this because this makes
mm,
me feel like this is the platform for my artwork. So
right.
the more you surround yourself with artistic company, find your tribe, connect with your people, find a new community, then this art form might start shining out of you. And soon you will be artistic yourself. So I feel like it's in all everybody. We just need to turn it back on or we need to let it come out. So the first step is, I always like to say, is to make a mark on a piece of paper, even if it's some notes, even if it's some sketch, little ideas. At least now that is outside of your mind, outside of your body, and expressed in geometry on the paper. And then you watch, the universe will take care of the rest.
Mm, wow. All right. So yes, thank you, Brett. This has been amazing, right? And I've been trying to figure out something. At the beginning of our conversation, you said the artwork is called Joy. I'm not sure I really understood the statement, right? So I think I would love to ask again. Do you mean your artwork there's joy written on it, or I'm really trying to understand. I can't.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't.
No, on your podcast it says conversations with Sekana, hosted by Joy.
Oh, okay. All right. So I was just thinking, like, did I hear this correctly? The artwork is called Joy. I was gonna dance right now. All
Oh,
right.
perfect.
Okay.
But
So yes.
yeah, I was unsure because sometimes a female's name is also called Joy, but I was just
Mm,
checking it was Sakani.
okay. All right. Actually, it's both of them. Like I said earlier, it's Joy
Yeah,
and
yeah.
it's Sekani. So whichever one comes to mind. So yes, thank you,
Beautiful.
Brett. This has been amazing, honestly, and thank you for sharing your story so openly. I really do appreciate it. And it brings me to the final segment of my podcast. I call it the rapid fire segment. You could either answer with a word or a phrase, starting now. So, what is
Perfect.
one, right? So, what is one word that describes your 20s?
Hope.
Hmm. Wow. All right. So, would you prefer skateboard or paintbrush?
Paintbrush.
Paintbrush. Wow. Okay. So, what is a piece of art that inspired you?
Roy Lichtenstein.
Hmm. Wow. Okay. So, what is one habit that keeps you creative?
Surfboard riding. Ocean.
Hmm. And finally, what is one message every young person should hear today?
Follow your passion and have full trust in yourself.
Hmm. Um, wow. All right. So, yes, thank you, Brett. This has been amazing. And yeah, finally, before you go, where can listeners get to, learn more about you and also connect with you?
Yeah, that would be lovely. My website is www.brettashby.com. And for any artists, if you ever want to connect with me, you can go to my Instagram and send me a direct message at Brett Ashby Artist. Thanks, Sakani. It's been great conversations.
All right. Wow. Okay. Definitely checking out your Instagram, by the way. And yeah. So my listeners, I want to say thanks for tuning in to Conversations with Sekani. If this episode sparked something in you, just as it did in me. Make sure to share to someone you think might need this, and also subscribe so you don't miss out on new episodes. Once again, thank you, Brett. You have a wonderful day ahead of you.
You too. Take care.